me thank Trigger, who hails from Montego Bay, for the rendition of our national anthem. She's a baker. I'll perhaps tell you more about her a little later on. I'm Fae Ellington, and it is indeed an honor and a privilege and pleasure to be hosting this event. There is a group of very enthusiastic and passionate Jamaicans, and they are positioned at different parts of the world, really, North America and Jamaica, who have decided that they wanted to launch something to acknowledge our heroes and our single heroine. And so we are beginning with the single heroine, but we'll tell you more about that in just a while. And of course, you know that that is Nanny. I hope you like my shirt. Like my Nanny shirt? Okay. And kind of a little cooler on the neck, so I've decided to put a little something there. But we can't do this and not bring somebody who's been very supportive of the efforts of the Jamaica Heroes Modernization Project, and that is the Consul General from Jamaica to the Southern USA, Oliver Mayer. So we're now going to hear from Consul General Oliver Mayer.
And you know, I remember the story of Nanny, her work, her, you know, her strength in war, the way she looked out for her team, her family members, her strategy, how she outwitted the enemy, and just a fine example of leadership. And this evening we celebrate Nanny, and over the next few months we'll be celebrating our other national heroes. This year we also celebrate 60 years of independence of the greatest nation ever created, and vast, Jamaica. And so we celebrate our independence. Do get involved. Let's celebrate. We have so much to be thankful for. Yes, we have our challenges, we do, but we also have so much to give thanks to the Father for in Jamaica. And the last thing I invite us to do is to use the lessons that we will learn or be reminded about as regards to our heroes. Yes, use the opportunity to reflect and see what can we take on individually in our own lives. Let's become heroes in our everyday lives and in our families. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today, and do enjoy the program.
Thank you so very much, Consul General Oliver Mayer. Thank you. We appreciate your endorsement for these events. And I'll tell you, as I mentioned at the start in my comments just before I brought our Consul General on, our Consul General to Southern United States of America, that's Oliver Mayer, we are focusing on Nanny, the Jamaica Heroes Modernization Project. And Charles Smart will be along to tell you more about that in a while. They have decided that every month in 2022, beginning with this month, the first 7 months, we're going to be focusing on our national heroes. And we're going to be having a discussion. I'm going to be moderating a discussion a little later on in the program. And perhaps you could start thinking about Nanny. What do you know about Nanny of the Maroons? Queen Nanny, Queen Nanny. That is what is written really, you know, Queen Nanny. What do you know about her? What do you know about the Maroons? Well, we've had lots of talk about Maroon territory and the Maroons in recent time, but this evening, this event is focusing on Queen Nanny, your knowledge of her, and we have some outstanding people who will help me in that panel discussion. I just moderate it and they will talk. But is she mythical to you? What do you know? Is she somebody who walked magica obia, or was she a revolutionary, a mastermind, a military person? And you know, as I talk about that, I can only say that on the 21st of January, the Jamaica Defense Force, historic event, handed over the command of the Jamaica Defense Force to a woman, Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman. And so it ties in very nicely with our focus on Nanny. But right now, there's somebody who can do much better with a performance. Suzanne Lisette Davis, AKA Dr. Sue. We want to bring you in here now for your presentation called Ode to Queen Nanny. Have a listen.
Ode to Queen Nanny from Dr. Sue. Sound the abeng. Sound the abeng, my friend. Louder. Louder! Yes! She a with Nanny, oh! 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 Say her name! Say her name! Nanny! Ashanti Queen! Nanny! Warrior as never before seen! strong like David, wise like Solomon, fearless, fearless like any woman. She organized and led a rebellion. My mother, Lord bless her soul. She was a Maroon, and she was so proud of that fact. Her features showed it, but it was her hit persona that really solidified that act. Yes, I tell you with pride, Mommy dearest would tell me about Nanny. How Nana they use her fortitude and resilience to escape slavery. Yes, how this leader of leaders, this warrior of African traditions and power, so brave. How she spent years destroying plantations of sugar and freeing hundreds of slaves. Nana Neyman. Nana Ney strategizing camouflage guerrilla warfare. She defeated the oppressors hands down. She never signed no treaty. She never signed no peace treaty, but her efforts gave rise to Nanny and Maroon Town. She a we Nanny oh, 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 Nanny, heroine among heroes. That is who she is to us. Symbol of unity, strength, and status. Today we say her name, Nanny, Ashanti Queen. Today we say her name, Nanny, a warrior as never before seen. Shall we Nanny? Shall we Nanny? And today we celebrate her. Shall we Nanny oh? Shall we Nanny oh? Shall we Nanny oh? Shall we Nanny oh? Queen Nanny, we celebrate you.
Shall we Nanny oh, shall we Nanny oh, shall we Nanny oh, shall we Nanny oh. That, of course, was Dr. Sue, author, educator, philanthropist, and of course, Jamaican ambassador in the diaspora. Thank you so much, Dr. Sue. You know, I want to share something with you. You know what this is? This is an abeng, but it's more than an abeng. It's the Oil Not Limited Second National Nanny Awards 1994 to Fae Ellington.
Wow.
I'll tell you more about that. The giver of this abeng and this award has moved on to higher planes and greater heights, but I'll tell you more about that, because what we need to understand is that there are many Jamaicans who understood the importance of Nanny and who tried their very, very best to ensure that she was upheld, elevated, promoted, that we were educated about her. More on this anon. You know, Charles Smart is here now to talk with us about, I mentioned it twice since I started, about the Jamaica Heroes Modernization Project. The handsome young man there with all of that behind him, all the heroes, is Mr. Charles Smart. Charles, be smart and tell us what this is all about.
Thank you so much, Faye. I appreciate you being here with us and hosting the show tonight. We're here celebrating our heroes. You know, without them, we don't have our independence. Without them, we don't have an emancipation. And this project that we've taken on, the Jamaica Heroes Modernized Project, is about celebrating them. It's about acknowledging them and really taking the work that they've done and putting it out to the world in a way that everybody can know about the heroes, and also modernizing the way that they are being portrayed to the rest of the world. And so the Jamaica Heroes Modernized Project is about modernizing them in 5 ways. We are taking the heroes and we're telling their stories through film, which is a 10-episode film series that we're creating that's going to immerse everyone into the story of the heroes, but not just the story of the heroes, but also Jamaican culture and how their lives and through time we have come to the country that we love so much. And so that 10 episode series, each episode will be focused on one of the heroes. And then we're going to also talk about other heroes or other individuals, icons who should be recognized, or we think, have done things to be recognized in the same manner as the heroes have. And so we're going to be telling those stories about Louise Bennett and Bob Marley. And to let people know that heroism is not dead. It's not something of the past. It's something that is still alive today. And all of us can play a part in doing that. Then we have music. We're going to be creating original music, singing about the heroes, in addition to the fine art paintings that we've created, the images of our heroes we've taken those black and white sketches, and we've taken those black and white photographs and transformed them into fine art paintings. And you can see the images of those paintings behind me here. And of course, our next generation, right? We want to make sure that this history is not lost. We want to make sure those stories live on way past our time. And so our current generation are consumed with the internet and Instagram and Facebook. And we want to make sure that our content is placed in a way that is accessible to them, not only accessible to them, but also aggregated and placed in one place. So you no longer have to go all over the internet looking for information about Jamaican national heroes, but you can go to all of the online properties that we've secured: JamaicanNationalHeroes.com, Jamaican National Heroes on Instagram, Jamaican National Heroes on Facebook, on YouTube. And of course, we also have some groups that we've created to create a community around this project in the digital space. And of course, the Back the Culture show that you're watching today, and a print in the schools in Jamaica. But we really are about taking the story for heroes and celebrating them. And as Faye mentioned earlier, over the next 7 months, we're going to be telling the stories about the heroes and celebrating each of them each month. The last Wednesday of every month, you can join us here at JamaicanNationalHeroes.com to hear about our heroes. Next month, we'll be doing Sam Sharp. But today we have an incredible show planned out for you with some incredible guests, leaders on the Maroon community, in addition to historians who've taken pretty much their whole lives to study the life of Queen Nanny, and they're here to share those stories with you. Also, a big announcement. You've probably seen a few individuals who are wearing those Queen Nanny shirts. We've also launched a website called backtheculture.com. That's backtheculture.com, that you can go online right now and find some amazing products that we've created with images of our heroes, things like silk scarves for the women. We have t-shirts for the kids and for the family, the men and women. We also have puzzles, little puzzles where kids can put together about the heroes as a family activity. And so if you log on to backtheculture.com, you can learn about those products and support it, because those funds that we earn from that, the sales of those products are going to help us to accomplish the goals that we've set for this project. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for watching it. I'm going to turn things over to Faye right now, and enjoy the show.
Well, thank you so much, Charles, and to all the team members. Let me tell you, friends, I'm going to ask Onif. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but give me a list of everybody who's been working on this show for this evening. So at least at some point, Charles, you can assist with that. At some point, I can acknowledge the work of all of you who are very many of you who are not being seen at this point. Right. So now you have had more information. I like my shirt, I like my nanny. All right, Queen Nanny, sure, me that, we that, and that which shows her. And I'm making that connection with the head of the Jamaica Defense Force. One, nothing happens in life coincidentally, you see, synchronicity. So take that, put it in your pipe and smoke it. All right, we're moving now to more entertainment. Trudy Knockless is an award-winning journalist, poet, actress, entrepreneur, and you're going to hear some of her creativity just now with a poem, I Am Queen Nanny. So let's listen up, and maybe at the end I'll give you a little bit more info about Trudy Knockless.
This is I Am Queen Nanny by yours truly, Trudy Knockless. Nanny, 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 I am Queen Nanny, and if you never hear about me, just grab your friends and your family and let me share with you a little history. I am Queen Nanny. Many people call me Granny Nanny. Born in Ghana in the 17th century, lived in Jamaica. Now that's my country. Nanny, Nanny, and if you never hear about me, I am Queen Nanny, leader of an African community enslaved in a beautiful country. Nanny, Nanny, I am Queen Nanny, and if you never hear about me, I led the fight against British authority, guerrilla war when Jamaica was a colony. I was never a slave and I was always brave. Freedom for my people was what I craved. No one should have to fight until them reach them grave. No one should ever have to live and die as a slave. But Nanny, Nanny, I can still hear my people calling me, just like they did when we were fighting to be free. That's why my face is now on money. Only female national hero in Jamaica's history. Highly esteemed in the 3 counties, loved by my people, including the Ashanti, but I give all praise to the powers that be, who gave us strength to fight and to gain victory. I knew that even without that treaty that we could fight, and the Maroon people could be free. We were tired of being treated with hostility. We who were known as the Coromanti, we fought our way out of slavery. Yes, many may marvel at our bravery. But Nanny, Nanny, I am Queen Nanny, and if you never hear about me, do not let it be known, just go and learn your history. Do not let it be known, just go and learn your history. Your history.
Good advice. Excellent advice. Don't let it be known. Go and learn your history. It is critical. Go and learn your history. Thank you, Trudy Knockless. And what Trudy does, she also hosts an online show, Conversations with Trudy. This lady is from Manchester, in the center of the island. So she's spending time with us now, but lives in New York, and she works as a business of law reporter. I mentioned something earlier to you, and I want to give you some information. I mentioned that we'll be having a panel discussion a little later on in the evening's presentation. Let me tell you who some of the panelists will be. Some of these names you would have heard. Mrs. Beverly Carey, a Maroon historian, and I'm so happy to have moved in the same space every now and again with her over the years. Colonel Wallace Sterling, Moortown Maroons, Colonel Marcia Douglas, Charlestown Maroons, Paramount Chief Mama G, of course, Charlestown Maroons, and Mr. Alex Moore Minot, a Kompong, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Diplomacy. Don't joke, you know. Oh, as a matter of fact, as we speak, I don't, yes, it is just about to start. The All Angles show on television, Jamaica, hosted by Dion Jackson Miller, will be hosting Chief from the Akompong Maroons, Richard Curry. He will be on the entire show. She journeyed to Akompong and did an interview with him. So Miss Annette Aarons, Moortown Maroons, Director, Granny Nanny Cultural Group. And those of you who are really involved in the culture will have known about that cultural group. So just give you an idea that you can prepare. The focus will be on Nanny, her role, and what the Maroons, how they view her, and her contribution then and now. So, but we're going to move on. Yes, we are going to move on. You know, very often people complain that we don't have enough good news in Jamaica. And there is, in fact, someone's who've been working on putting out these very uplifting stories about Jamaica and things to do with Jamaica. I've had the pleasure of knowing these people for a while. Good News Jamaica. Judith Hyatt is the Human Experience Director of Good News Jamaica Communications. She's just so passionate and supportive with clients in identifying and mapping out their business goals into sustainable and successful outcomes. And we're going to hear now about what Good News Jamaica is all about. And is Charles Hyatt, the son of the great late Charles Hyatt a part of this? Hello, Miss Judith. Let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Judith Hyatt from Good News Jamaica. Good News Jamaica is so delighted to partner with Back the Culture in celebrating Nanny. And in true Good News Jamaica style, we too have some phenomenal women that we want to highlight during this time. So let's take a look at who our three women are. So let's talk about Sarah Messier. Following several rounds of assessment and evaluation, Jamaica's 23-year-old Sarah Messier is one of 50 women who made it to the Formula One women racing final round. And this is from a total of 10,000 aspirants. Wow. The final of the competition will be held on March 2nd and 3rd in the United Kingdom. You do not want to miss that, guys. Sarah was also nominated for Female Motorsport Athlete of the Year in 2021. And this is the Gleaner RJR Sports Foundation Awards. Our two hidden gems that we wanted to highlight are Sophia Sterling and Winsome Gibbs. Now, Sophia Sterling is a 29-year-old farmer, and she farms out in Rocky Point in Clarendon. Sophia does not fit your typical picture of a farmer. In fact, she has been faced with several discouragement, not only from her peers, but from other members of the society who believe that she needs to be doing something else with her time. But this young woman loves farming. And in fact, she continues to farm, not just for herself, but she's also teaching other youths within the community the art of farming, and she is loving it. She's also an aspiring journalist and an author. Phenomenal woman indeed. We celebrate Sophia. We celebrate her in not listening to the naysayers, but instead doing what it is that she found in her heart to do, and she's doing it well. Winsome Gibbs is another hidden gem that we met up with. Winsome is a senior insurance executive at Massey United Insurance Company. And recently, Winsome has embarked on a passion of hers, and this is a passion of painting. So she's now not only an insurance executive, but she's also an artist. Just a few years ago, Winsome attended a sip and paint event where she experimented with her first painting on canvas. Today, Winsome is making waves in the industry, and you can purchase some of her paintings in stores. You can also find her at pop-up art shows. Also, you can find her painting on her notebooks that is available on Amazon, and also her painting, which is on tote bags. So in whatever style you like art, she has a way for you to not just have it on your wall, but also to wear it and to use it. Now you can check out Winsome's work on G-Zone Artistry, and that is her Instagram handle. Winsome indeed is a testimony that if you have a passion, then you must put in the work to achieve it. Now, if you thought those news items were amazing, please, why don't you continue to check us out on goodnewsjamaica.com for more amazing content about Jamaica and Jamaicans globally 24/7. Also, please check us out on YouTube, that is Good News Jamaica TV, where you can find amazing and inspiring interviews that we have done. And you can also check us out on Instagram and also Facebook. You can go there, you can like, you can share, and you can subscribe. Thank you so much. Walk good.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Judith. Thanks to you and all the work you do along with your husband, Charles Hyatt Jr., to get good news out and across Jamaica. Let me tell you something. The Jamaica Diaspora Southern USA, JDIAS, Jamaica Diaspora Southern USA, JDIAS has been working to keep the Jamaican diaspora, the section that they have responsibility for, informed, acknowledged, empowered, enlightened. And I have the honor and privilege of co-hosting a function with them in Florida. And this was in November. So let me just ask us to join Dr. Rosemary Lewis from the JDIAS. So let's join the diaspora to hear what Dr. Rose Lewis has to say. Yes, sometimes these things happen. So we're trying to find Dr. Rose Lewis. There are a number of things that we're doing from a number of places. I want to thank Earl Moxham, an outstanding reporter who has joined and is watching what is happening here. And Earl, I don't know if you'll be able to pull anything out and highlight in any of your programs that you will have to come. All right, so we're just getting that sorted. All right. All right, so we won't go to Dr. Rosemary Lewis at this time. All right, so let us now move to, you can't speak about culture in Jamaica and not understand, not have met, not have heard or read the work of Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks. Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks has been making some outstanding contributions. In addition to her work, current work at the Edna Manley College for the Visual and Performing Arts, she is a poet of many years standing. She has worked throughout the Caribbean, Guyana, lived in Ghana and Antigua. She has traveled extensively across the globe for storytelling. And so Onif, what do you want me, you're telling me something, Onif, but it coincided with what I was saying. Yes, Onif, what do you want me to do? Oh my, you want to do the discussion segment now? All right, we have a little bit of subject. Let me just share something with you. It's a good time to tell you. We have people working on this production from different points of the world at this point. Let me just say, executive producer is Charles Smart. Onif White is director producer. Rolando Nooks is the first admin stream engineer. Antonio Dennis, second admin stream engineer. Producer Dainty Wilson. Producer Kadisha Fisher. Double Mint is social media ambassador. You hear the name, Double Mint, and Joel Samuels, audio engineer. So I now have the privilege and honor of joining and bringing into the discussion on Nanny, the persons I made mention of earlier on. Let me just give you a little bit of information on them. Mrs. Beverly Carey, Maroon historian. Mrs. Carey is now 83 years old, I'm told, and is a Maroon historian and elder from the Moortown community. She has more than 50 years of research and study experience on the Maroon subject matter. She proudly notes that her maternal ancestors were with Nanny at Old Nanny Town. Mrs. Carey, it's such a wonderful privilege and honor to be in this space sharing with you. So let me introduce now Colonel Wallace Sterling, Moortown Maroons. Wallace Sterling, chief of the Maroons, Moortown. This included the entire part of the Upper Rio Grande Valley and has been in this, he's been in the position as chief since 1995. The Rio Grande Valley is a beautiful place, you know. He has learned a lot from the elders to whom he's greatly appreciated. Chief, how are you doing? Colonel Sterling, good to see you, good to see you. Let me now introduce a lady I met maybe 2 or so years ago, Colonel Marcia Douglas, Charlestown Maroons. Marcia Kim Douglas is the acting colonel of the Charlestown Maroon community and spokesperson for one of the several Maroon communities in Jamaica. Acting Colonel Douglas stands as the first woman to occupy any such position of authority among them in the present day. I tell you, we're breaking some ground here, women. All right. Paramount Chief Mama G of Charlestown Maroons. I'll tell you a little bit about her in just a while. Alex Moore Minot, a compound Minister of Foreign Affairs, okay, and Diplomacy. And he's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Diplomacy for Accompong Maroons. He is the holder of a degree in International Relations from the University of the West Indies and a proud Maroon of the Rio Grande Valley, and apprentice to Major Charles Aarons, a world-renowned culture bearer of the Maroons in the Rio Grande Valley. It's good to have you, Mr. Alex Moore Minot. Miss Annette Aarons, Moortown Maroons, Director Granny Nanny, the cultural group, director of the Granny Nanny Cultural Group. She's a daughter of Major Charles Aarons and is a renowned culture bearer of the Maroons of the Rio Grande Valley. She's a descendant of Granny Nanny and has born and raised 4 children who are all prominent practitioners of the ancient Maroon culture. I do want to give you very quickly the I think I have Gamma Gloria Sims. Tekina Nuna is a woman of the African diaspora, a spiritual worker and community build rooted family in the Maroon and Rastafari traditions. And as Gamma, Gloria continues to pursue her ultimate vision. She sees the restoration of the family as a must. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor, privilege, and pleasure to be sharing this space with you. I want to, poems have been written about Nanny. Research papers have been done on Nanny. Songs have been done about Nanny. And of course, we have Nanny, Queen Nanny of the Maroons, national hero. And that is an honor that was bestowed on her March 31, 1982. I think I want to begin with the elder woman in this group at this time, Mrs. Carey, to just put Queen Nanny in context for us based on your research over these many years and your lived experience. Could you unmute your mic, please? Great. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, Nanny, we think, came, we don't know exactly when she came, but she arrived sometime between 1690 and say 1720 into Port Antonio. She was destined for one of the Rio Grande estates, Foxes River, Berrydale area, where the Foxes River comes off the mountain into the Rio Grande. But her ship was shipwrecked in Port Antonio just by the library, and they were able to escape because of the confusion. They escaped up, we think, Anotta Bay River and over into Berrydale, because the river goes right down into Berrydale. Once she hit Berrydale, even before she gets to Berrydale, she's looking up on the Blue Mountain. And we have her placed mostly connected with Watch Hill, Pumpkin Hill, which is part of the Golden Vale property. But at the time, Golden Vale was not consolidated. There were several estates that were there, principally Nightingale Grove. So that's when she came, and essentially she found her way into Nannytown, and at a time when most of the leaders were women at the time, and they mentioned Dinah, Molly, and then of course at a later period you get people like Bemba who committed suicide with her 2 children jumped over a precipice rather than allow soldiers to track her down to Nanny. So, but you know, when I think about Nanny, the part about her as a warrior, as a mystic, is very important. But there's something that sticks in my mind. I found a writer calling her Mama Nanny. What a wonderful Mama Nanny, Mommy of the nation, Mama Nanny. And you see, it pairs it out, because one of the first things I learned when I went to Moortown as a mature person to visit was that Nanny taught the women how to bury up the thatch on the Junker Mountain, and the place is called Barry Hill. And I remember who told me it was one of the Parsley women, Martha Downer, I think it is, Martha Downer. She taught me, and she keep on rubbing it in, Barry Hill. I know you want Nanny teach to bury up, or Nanny bury up the thatch for. In other words, behave yourself. I know you want Nanny love. You know, may have a place in it. Yes. But it's why I think it is important, you see, is because if the Maroon men, the warriors, were there, they would have buried up the thatch. When Nannytown was overturned about 1731, Nanny took up the picnic and the women, and she dashed away, went over the Junker Mountain, because there are 2 mountains, you know, Blue Mountain on one side and Junker Mountain. Junker Mountain is bare and full of rock, more or less a cockpit, except it's not a cockpit. And Nanny went over there, and that period of time is called Cutterwood. In fact, You have cutter wood, scatter wood, you know, catcher wood, and we know the place where it's located. So essentially, when I think of Nanny, I think of her particular nurturing skill for those women and children.
Indeed, indeed. And the
I
fact
just say one
that
other thing.
the fact that you've used the term Muma Nanny, you know, I have a dear friend, Clyde McKenzie. Whenever Clyde calls me, he greets me Muma, and it's a term of endearment and respect. And you know, let me bring. I noticed Annette Aarons and Alex Moore Minot were nodding when you were speaking just now. Let me ask Annette, what is it that Mrs. Carey said? Remember to unmute your mic. What beautiful. What is it that Mrs. Carey said that got you nodding about Nanny?
All of she said is true, and that lady that she was talking about, Miss Marcia, is my auntie. So.
Awesome. Okay. And she shows her respect. So tell me now, what, in addition to what Mrs. Carey said, what your auntie, Miss Martha, tell you about Nanny?
And Marcia, she was a prominent woman in the Maroon. Both of them were, you have Marcia and you have Ermine, that's Major. They call her Major as her name. And then my dad. They were sisters and brothers, and they were prominent in the Maroon history and the culture. They sing and dance a lot. So she taught me a lot of things.
Annette, let me interrupt you. You're director of the Granny Nanny Cultural Group. What? Yes. Give me, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this to you. Give me a song that is performed by your group that has a lot of meaning.
Like we have one that we say Maroon there, you know, gone home me.
Sing it, let me hear it now. Come.
Gano, say we gano me. Gano, we no gano me. We are a troll and we cry out to me. Maroon there, we no gano me.
Oh, this is so rich.
Here are a troll and we cry out to me. Maroon there, we no gone away.
Maroon there, we not gone away. No there, we not gone away. Alex, you left a compound now as a foreign affairs minister, and you reach up, catch up side of Annette, you know, even though we know you come from Rio Grande Valley.
I actually live in Moortown.
I know, I was just teasing you, but you're the foreign affairs minister over a compound. All right. So we've heard from Mrs. Carey about the role of women, Maroon, and women leaders after Nanny and during that time. What is your understanding of Nanny's contribution to the history of the Maroon community across the length and breadth of Jamaica?
Well, I think that single-handedly, maybe the greatest contribution that Nanny would have made was to bring the abeng, right? The use of the abeng as a technology, right? So this enabled long distance communication, something that the British did not have at the time.
Stop, Alex. There are people from all over Jamaica and all over outside of Jamaica in the diaspora and beyond the diaspora. What is the abeng? So you lift up yours. Mine is just a replica made out of wood, but you have the real abeng. You cannot speak about the abeng and not explain from what it is made, and then you have to go blow it. You better have good lungs to blow it in that tonight.
No, I am not the blower of the abeng.
You can't blow it.
But I given Mr. Smart a video with the actual abeng blower.
Okay, but what is it made from, please, so people understand?
Horn. It's a cow's horn.
A cow's horn, the horn of a cow, right? And that is what you notice that Alex Moore Minot said that it was you blow it and send messages.
It's a side blown signaling horn.
Right, thank you. A side-blown signaling horn. Why should we be celebrating Nanny in 2022?
Well, really and truly, the role of women, and especially strong women in our island, is very important. You know, when we look at all that women go through in the society to ensure that their children are fed, clothed, and educated. it's much the same sort of struggle that Nanny and the women around her would have had. Right? She had to be a mother in a time that was very, very unsure. You know, at times food would have been slim, right? At times, you know, maybe they wouldn't have good shelter because if running through the woods and it rains torrentially in the Rio Grande Valley. So there would have been days that would have been cold and wet.
Running for
Right.
your life, running for your life.
Essentially. So Nanny represents the spirit of the strong woman, strong indigenous woman of the earth who had that connection to the earth and that connection to the Most High Creator. And
Let me just bring Colonel Marcia Douglas in. Unmute your mic, Colonel Marcia Douglas. I met you at the U.S. Embassy. I don't know if you'll recall this, about 2 or so years ago, when Prof came to, unmute your mic, Colonel Marcia, unmute your mic, unmute. Yeah, that's it. When Professor, remind me of his last name, he had come and did some fantastic work with the Maroons. Do you remember who that was? No, unmute your mic. You've put, unmute. Yeah, that's it. Leave it, right?
I'm not troubling it.
Right.
Professor Harcourt Fuller.
Yes, Harcourt Fuller. That's where I met you. But you are now, I'm linking now to what Alex Moore Minot said, what Beverly Carey said about the strong woman. You're the only woman in a position as acting colonel, and we just call you colonel, in any Maroon community in Jamaica. How difficult was it for you to achieve this position?
It wasn't my doing. Where am I? What is
Oh
this?
my, I'm with you. Stay with us. You said it wasn't your doing. What do you mean?
No, it wasn't my doing as in person. You know, it was bestowed on me by the ancestors first. And then at the passing of Colonel Frank Lumsden, there was this Marcus Garvey movement in Port Maria. And yeah, in Ochi at IRFM. Thank you, Mama G. And I was supposed to make a speech. And he said to me, go ahead with the group. I will be there. But at the time I was saying, but Colonel Frank, you're sick. How are you coming? He said, I'll be there. And then when I was there now, he said to me, you are gonna have to speak. Now on the ground, that was when I know I have to make that presentation. And I said, but how? He said, yes, you can do it and you will do it. And he said, it's your time now. You have to take over. This is a time for you to move. This is a time for you to step up. Take the baton, I'm giving it to you. Go ahead and speak. And I tried to question him and he said to me, you know what? I am not able to talk to you anymore. I'm just going to be relaxing, sitting there, talking to my maker, communicating with him. You need to do the work of your ancestors. And from that time until today, I know that it was a destiny, not for me to give up, but for me to actually speak as a woman to help other women or women to grow up. Particularly, I work mostly with young girls. Why? Because it's easier to get the message to them and it stays than when they are big. When they are big, you can talk to them, you can work with them, but they might not stay in the path that you want them to. So it's
Colonel Marcia Douglas,
Yes.
I recall Colonel Frank Lumsden. I can see him standing in front of me now. He was just such a powerful figure, even though he was not a big man. You know,
Right.
Wonderful person. But you said you work with girls now, younger women.
Yes.
And you've given your reason. From the Maroon community, from where you are at, what are the 3 most important things that you need to share with these young women, whether they are from the Charlestown Maroons or just young women in general?
So women in general, what are the 3 most important things that I would normally share with them? First, the way of life of our culture, so that they can know what our culture is, what it means, why is it important for us to keep that way of life alive and transmit from one generation to the next. Secondly, you might say etiquette, belongs to another set of people, but no, it belongs to the Maroon too as well, because they know when to be up, when to be down, when to be in, when to be out. You know, they know all those things. And so we have to teach them that way. I know growing up in this community of Charleston, we were taught good manners and discipline. We could not pass Mass Joe on the street and don't say good afternoon or good morning, because when Mass Joe got to our house, then we would have to talk to our parents, and that would be another story, right? And we learned that we have to do all that. So that is one of the most important things, the very most important thing. And then
manners and respect for your elders and for each other in the community. Before I bring in Colonel Wallace Sterling, let me ask you this. We know that on the 6th of January, our compound has a big celebration. Do you have a date when you have a big celebration in Charlestown, Colonel Douglas?
Yes, we do. We generally have our celebration on the 23rd of June of each year. And of course, we would take in 3 or 4 days. So the 23rd, 24th, 25th, if that fall on the weekend, and if the 23rd fall within the week, like for example, from Thursday down would begins like the 23rd, but continue for the 4 days until it closes the weekend, because we have people who can only attend the function on a weekend.
Yes.
While we have people that can during the week. We cater for school children.
I get
so the conference provide lecture and education. So the school children will come on a school day, but we have other people that will come and experience within the weekend session.
For the school children, when they come, can you give me one of the questions that they're always asking? What is the most popular question?
They always ask who are the Maroons and where they are.
Okay. Colonel Wallace Sterling, could I ask you to unmute? Yes, your mic is unmuted. It's an honor and a privilege and a pleasure of sharing with you, sir. Thank you for joining us in this discussion. You're hearing me, sir?
I am hearing you loud and clear.
Wonderful. Sir, when you think of Nanny of the Maroons, so much has been said, but from your perspective as an elder in the community and well, we don't have some of the others that I grew up around who were the colonels at the time. They have gone on, but you are here. What is it that Nanny represents to you?
First of all, let me say, good evening to everyone and this panel this evening. And I should say, you know, a big welcome, a big akwaba to everyone. And then at the end, I'm still gonna tell you Medasi. But anyway, you asked me a question.
Hang on a moment. Let's deal with that. What does akwaba mean?
Welcome.
Welcome. And what at the end you said?
I said at the end, I'm gonna tell you Medasi. I'm gonna tell you thank you.
Medasi. Then we now have to learn. Yeah. So welcome is akwaba. And I know some akwaba drummers. I know some akwaba drummers, yeah. And then Medasi. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. So you asked about what Nanny means. First of all, I choose to categorize her in 4 different ways, right?
Yes.
The one person. First of all, she was the priestess for the Maroon community. And I mean, from a spiritual point of view, she was the one who would intercede with, you know, communicate with the ancestors, communicate with Iton Yankipong.
Yes.
And she was basically the chieftainess. From a military point of view, she was responsible for whatsoever take place in the community, whatever the training of the warriors to go out and to fight. Hence, you have places like, you know, the Asafu Yard or the Asafu Ground or the Asafu House, whatever term you choose to call it. It's basically the meeting place. It's basically the training ground for the warriors. And as a woman, you know, she was responsible for that.
Yeah.
Then basically, she was the queen. She was the one who, if you have to come to the community to deal with somebody as the head, then she's the one. If you were allowed to see her, that's the first thing anyway. And if you couldn't just barge in and tell yourself that you want to speak to Nanny and then, you know, everything is like that. Mm-hmm. So all in all, we refer to her as our mother. So we refer to herself as Granny Nanny Yo-Yo because she was the mother of us all. Never mind, it is a difficult thing. You know what I mean? Persons might claim that they are direct descendants of Granny Nanny. And that is not something that I claim, neither would I even encourage anybody to say, because in terms of genealogy, it's difficult for anybody to prove that. But one thing we can say, you know, we are all Granny Nanny Yo-Yo because she was the mother for us all. It's just like somebody would say, I am a Jew, I'm a Israeli. But the person could jolly well be, but does that person really related to Jacob or to Abraham? That person was basically a part of it, right?
Yes.
So as such, you know, you become, you know, what part of the flock. So we
So
see
just
Nanny
let me recap something here. You said priestess, queen, mother, Granny Nanny, Yo-Yo. What was a Yo-Yo?
and
What
chief
does that
and
mean?
chief. Yo-Yo mean that we are children of Granny Nanny.
Huh?
That's what so I'll refer to myself as Granny Nanny Yo-Yo, or I refer to myself as Yenkunkunu Pikibo. Meaning that Yenkunkunu is the word that our foreparents used to describe themselves. It is an Akan word. And it actually means people who are self-reliant, people who depend on themselves for their own survival. I watch your back, you watch my back.
Indeed.
Things are held in common. And so that's how they used to live before they came to this side of the world.
You know, I love the idea of the Asufu yard. That is such a critical space, the Asufu yard. Thank you for raising that. I want to just bring in, if you'll allow me at this time, because there's just so much that we need to do. There is a lady sitting there, and I want to, Paramount Chief Mama G. Paramount Chief Mama G, Charlestown Maroons. How are you?
Audio.
Audio. Shall I tell you that audio with that lilt is just so different, and it is maroon. I can identify with it. So tell me about your headdress.
One of my creation.
It stands out. It stands out. Mama G, lots of people, well, let me bring it on to Paramount Chief Mama G. How did you get that title, and what does it mean in the Maroon community?
Well, that title, Paramount Chief, was bestowed, the title Gaman was bestowed upon me from the Surinamese Maroons, who have that title there. You know, when they run away in the swamp, Suriname is much bigger than Jamaica. So when they run away into the remote of the forest, you have some people that never go back in the town. When you see them, it's just what they saved when they came from Africa, that they still have. So they save what they save the governance of what they know in Africa, in Suriname. And so you have a structured Maroon governance with the gaman at the top, chief of chief, then they have the Basia, then they have the cabinet, and all these come together. And so the gaman as their own cabinet.
Cabinet. So hang on there a moment. You're speaking about all of this in Suriname. Do we have a similar structure in Jamaica?
Not really, but then they were very touched too, because even after they gave me that, they asked if there's such a structure in Jamaica. And then the gaman was saying that if the Maroon doesn't have a structure like that, then it means that they are not free. They need to have their governance, you know? So they bestowed this upon me there. They have never given it to a woman ever there before. So I was the first woman ever for them to break their tradition and gave it to when I was there.
Congratulations. What year was that?
That was in 2014.
All right. Do you ever go back to Suriname to celebrate with them?
And then they came here. I requested when they did it, I was like, I didn't speak when I understand what it was for, you know? And so I said, no, can I ask one request? And they said, yes. I said, can you come to Jamaica and do that? because I will not go back and say that this is the position that I have.
Oh, so you had gone to Suriname. They gave this great honor to you, but you wanted it to be done in Jamaica in front of
7 people down, including government worker, the ambassador of Suriname to Trinidad, and traditional worker and government worker, 7 people in all, and my stool and everything they took here and did it at this conference here.
Did you say, so, I mean, wow, do you have pictures of that?
I have a video on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, so we can look there. Now, you're from Charlestown Maroons. What role do you play? Pardon me?
I'm from Trelawney Maroons. I'm from Flagstaff Maroon, Old Trelawney Town.
So tell me about that now, because the Trelawney Maroons, it go up in a cockpit country area and also?
Yes, but I'm from the Old Trelawney Town in the hills of Montego Bay and on the border of Trelawney.
Oh.
Yes, that's where my grandparents are from.
So the Old Trelawney Town is in the hills of Montego Bay, you said?
Yeah, on the border of Trelawney.
On the border of Trelawney. So how far away from a compound is that?
A few miles.
Yeah.
A few miles from a compound.
Do you celebrate with your compound brothers and sisters, or do you do your own celebrations in the Old Trelawney Town?
Well, they still honor, they honor the 1st of March when the treaty was signed over there. But I celebrated all the towns that are.
All right. So in the Old Trelawney Town, they observe March 1. Over in Annette, you say you do June what date again? I wrote it down. What date?
And it's June 23rd.
Marcia, rather, June 23. Yeah. So where's Colonel Sterling? Colonel Sterling, what date do you celebrate over in your community?
The 3rd Monday of October, which is nominally National Heroes Day.
Ah, so it's a different, or a question now. People from the other communities come and visit and celebrate with you, meaning people from the other Maroon communities.
Yes, they do. Because what we do is, whenever we have celebration in this Maroon community, all the other Maroon communities, they do go there and pay their respect and do their performances, bring their greetings and everything like that. It's like a part. It's something that was going on from hundreds of years now. So it's nothing new to us.
Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, many people in Jamaica, I suppose outside of Jamaica too, when we talk about Nanny, they say, "Cha, I'm a lady who used to work up there." I noticed you said, Colonel Sterling, that she was a priestess, and sometimes people misunderstand what that means. But so them said, "Cha," and talk about magic and them something there. What can we do to properly educate the Jamaican populace about who Nanny really was? Let me ask you to start off, Colonel Wallace Sterling.
All right, okay. Look at religion is something else that is practiced by most persons throughout the world, right? And the word obia comes from the word ob, that our foreparents have practiced when they were in Africa, right? And if you go to the Bible, you find that the things that, for example, let's take Moses' situation in Egypt with his rod and the Pharaoh magician in Egypt. Mm-hmm. Moses' rod turned into a snake, Pharaoh magician rod turned into a snake. I mean, did anybody condemn that? The fact that our foreparents came from Africa, and if at that time rods could turn into snakes, then imagine 2,000, 3,000 years after what they could have done when they come to this side of the world. You know, I consider myself a Christian, but I don't like to talk about religious things too much because persons are not really open-minded in dealing with these things. Our foreparents had to do what they had to do to defend themselves in their community. If today, any of these superpowers traveling anywhere in any conflict, they're going to have nuclear weapon with them. And they're going to carry everything that they have. Our foreparents had to use anything and everything that was at their disposal in order to defend themselves, to be triumphant in any battle that they undertake. And more so, It's just a corrupting of the thing Hobia, because it was used to defend the people of the community, to protect, for healing, for everything that was good. So, you know, after a while, we don't use the word, we call it science.
Right. And I just say this, that many people don't understand certain practices, just label it Obia, and it may not be anything like that. So we have to have another discussion on this about what Obia is. And so Nanny was a great leader. Nanny was an organizer of no mean order. She outwitted everybody. She was a strategist. She was a chieftainess. She was a priestess. She was wise. And of course, we have the legends and the folklore now. But let me ask Alex Moore and Annette, you're both there. What is it that we need to do, maybe in the education system, to get people to understand and appreciate more the role of Queen Nanny, national hero, the right, excellent Queen Nanny, national hero? Annette, you want to begin? What we need to do? You say you talk with the young people, but talk to me about education. You think we're doing enough in our schools in terms of educating our young people, our children?
No, I don't believe that. Even in this community, the young people don't know much about the culture, and we have to teach them. I have a daughter which involved in this culture from she's 7 years old. She's the only female right now that can blow the abeng and also play the drum. And I don't think nothing interest is here to interest the young people to involve in the culture and that want to change.
But how do you change that? How do we change that? Mrs. Carey, how do we change that? Mrs. Beverly Carey, turn your right. What can we do to get young people interested and want you to know, want you to understand?
Well, let me start. Did Nanny exist? Here's our patent. To Nanny, Negro woman, and her people reside in North. She really existed. By patent, we mean her grant of land. Two of them. This is it with the plan of the land. That's Moortown, Lower Moortown, and this is the older one. It's their 1741. So she really existed, and
so that's the first thing we need to dispel, that she never existed. We need to, and so that information needs to be perhaps put in our books. Put the Jamaica Information Service need to get that up there on their website next to the picture of Nanny as national hero.
The brochure of the Jamaica Information Service. This one is printed 1995. Here's Nanny, but there's nothing in there showing where Moortown is, nor the patent.
No, that needs to be addressed.
So even if you don't quote the whole thing, you know, you could show it and have an explanatory thing that shows that it was granted to the Negro woman Nanny and her people residing with her. And this is when she's up in the cutwood. So you see all of the various instruments that are used for teaching has to have the facts in it. Because
May I ask you to just pause a moment. Annette, did you know, have you ever seen the patent, Annette?
Yes, I do.
Alex Moore Minot, have you ever seen the patent?
Definitely.
Okay, Colonel Marcia Douglas, you've seen it?
Yes,
Pardon me?
Yes, I have.
You have. And Colonel Wallace Sterling and Mama G, you both have seen this patent.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
We
important.
all know that it exists, yeah.
Pardon me?
I said we all know of its existence and we have seen it
You
from
know
time
of the
to time.
existence. You know of it, but have you ever seen it?
Yes, I said that we all know and see it.
So Mrs. Pardon me? So Mrs. Carey, what you said is clearly pointing to the education ministry and the public education programs.
Yes.
Am I? Yeah.
Yes, it is correct. And also you have to be able to teach that the Africans had a very good society, a better society than the one that was established in Jamaica, which was a slave society. You know, strong cultural, and I mean, magic, I don't call any of it magic at all, you know, because the Maroons believe that spirit beings are always around, you know, and they represent ancestors. And if you want to look at it in terms of science and physics, you might say energy. There's
Indeed.
nothing to be afraid of, you see, because in many of the Maroons could transmutate, is that the word? Change their form, disappear. And it's some of the legends. And my mother, who taught me some of this, was a very skeptical person about ancient Maroons who in Moortown, who were dissatisfied with what young people are doing, like we do today, what the world. And those people would express their displeasure by telling you they're going to fly away. And there were people that would be seen there who actually flew away. There's like a dog who just went in the air until it became a speck. My mother would say, when Auntie Missy flew away, disappeared, my mother would say, as a grown woman, but me not believe that, she must have lost in the bush. But don't tell them around because they know she disappeared.
And then come back.
No, she didn't come back. She disappeared. She went back.
I mean, she disappeared.
Early Maroons, the Nanny came from a particular group of people who were great mystical people. You would call them great religious people. And when she came, she learned a lot more when she came here. So a lot of the things that Nanny was able to achieve was because of her background and the older Maroons who taught her certain things. One of the first things that happened when they came here, as some say that the Africans sent them to rescue the enslaved population. And that when she came here, there were 3 sisters of them. And when she came here, one of them decided that she would not stay. She would go back, and she told them she would fly back to Africa. And when she got there, she would send a bird to tell them that she had arrived safely. So and I don't look at this as strange, because nowadays that physics has developed and you get different new theories, tells you about how energy can take its form, like how you can have ice and when it melts you get water. You know, it's a change in the form of the same material.
Yeah.
So I accept that there's an interrelationship between the ancestral spirits and the Maroons. There was this woman that was at Scotsall, to be very quick, many years ago, 1995.
Scotsall in St. Mary.
St. Mary. And when I got there for the celebration, she was sitting squat on the ground, and she had some broomweed, and she was sweeping it around herself. So I was very interested in this, and I asked one of the people escorting me, what was this? I'd never seen it happen before. And they said, look, she's sweeping the ground to sweep your spirit. And Maroons believe everybody has a spirit that is with them. It's part of their driving force. They also, I think as Miss Lou said, walk good, so that good Duppy walk with you.
Duppy walk with you.
There is a spirit. There is a spirit that is with us. That's what we believe, each of them. And so she did not want her spirit to have a disagreement with your spirit at their particular level,
yes,
which is the unseen world.
Yes,
you know, it's quite a complex thing. It's nothing to be afraid of. And you can go and you can compare it. You go read the Roman Catholic Church and go read the Anglican, and you all have these things in it. It's only that is not brought into focus. So we hold on to what we have. We have our African Maroon tradition, and we hold on to it because it's proved very helpful to us.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for participating in this very important discussion. And before we go, I'm just going to allow each of you to just remind the persons, of myself included, what your special days. I know there's October 3, but just say your community, and the day when you observe, right? And you're going to have to say it even, you just observe it, Alex. We know it's January 6th, but you still going to have to say it. So let me begin with Colonel Marcia Douglas, just remind, so because people are going to want to come after having this kind of discussion, right? Because of Nanny and the Maroons, because Nanny doesn't matter where the Maroon community is, Nanny is observed and held up in high esteem. So Colonel Marcia, what the date, remind us?
Okay, so this year we will be having our 13th year of annual conference and a celebration, and it will be held right here in the Asafia, Charlestown.
Say it again, please, Colonel Marcia.
sorry, this year will be the 14th.
No, just say the name of your group and then what you're doing.
Charlestown Maroon Council. And the date is the 23rd to the 25th of June.
All right, that's a Charlestown Maroon, 23rd to 25th of June. And you're saying something now about what you'll be doing?
So it is the 14th year of conference and celebration. And this is where we would have kept people would learn more about the Maroon Basin and the topic.
So that's June 23 and to 25, and it's a 14th conference. Colonel Wallace Sterling, your date?
So from Moortown, it is generally the third Monday of October, which is nominally National Heroes Day. But and it's a day when we celebrate Nanny.
Okay.
And I want to say one thing before I leave,
Yes,
because people say something about Nanny all the while and whether she's real or not. But there's a song that we sing in Moortown, and you know, every Maroon community, the songs that they sing is generally what record the history of the people, right? And it tells a story. It says that Granny Nanny, she been at Tony River. And it also said that Granny Nanny been at Anabo. What it means is saying that she was living in Stony River, right? And she's also from a place in Africa named Anabo, which is in Ghana.
Anabo.
Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Annette, when is your date, Annette? Go ahead.
We are a cultural group. We don't really have a date. We have our first celebration last year in Florida.
Where had it?
In Florida. Most of the group migrate to Florida.
That's interesting. That is interesting. Well, you're the director of the Granny Nanny Cultural Group. All right. Alex Moore, yours is January 6th.
Our Pompong is the 6th of January.
Right.
But normally they have something starting on the 5th.
And go over into the big day on the 6th. Yeah. You know, we don't have anybody from Scots Hall here. You know what date?
They're the 1st of August.
August 1, Scots Hall. Thank you. So we need to have that. Now, do we have a bang blower in the house? Is there a bang blower anywhere? Do we have a bang blower? All right. Now, should we treat this with reverence, Colonel Wallace Sterling? Are you a regular bang blower? You have to turn on Colonel Wallace Sterling's mic for me, please. Because this is this we're gonna hear there being okay. Yes. Oh, go back. It's gone off. It's gone off. Right. That's it.
Okay, fine. So the mic is on. I'm not a regular bang blower. Neither do I ever consider myself an bang blower.
Have you ever tried
what I can attempt to do is to sound the bang, not to blow the bang this hours of the night. Why am I blowing it? Just blowing it sick?
Before you blow it, yeah. What are the occasions on which the bang is blown?
Just one second. One second. Let me get my things that I have to use to blow a bang.
Okay, Colonel Marcia Douglas, I say you pick up yours too. What are the occasions on which the Maroon blow the bang?
Was used to transfer messages from one end to the other for parents. That was one of the easiest way to communicate without
right. But now, what do you do now?
We're cleaning the town. We're cleaning the cemetery. A baby is born. Someone has died, and much more.
Oh, you still do that?
Yes.
So like how the Christian church toll a bell, you blow their bang.
Right, and if we're going to have a meeting, we'll blow their bang to say, come see, and everyone would come. If we have an emergency, we could use a bang for that. In fact, the bang today is the emergency call for a fire, earthquake, or any destruction that we are gathering for, and to help people to notice that there's something really happening. If we are here and there is trouble, the abeng blow, and then you will see the troops coming in from all over. So that we still use the abeng for many different reasons here in Charleston.
All right. So thank you for that. Yes.
We have to blow it for a cost.
For a cost.
Yes.
For
a good reason.
Oh, for a cause. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So This is let me just say to Mama G, thank you so very much. We are very honored and privileged to be in your company, that you were so honored by the Maroons in Suriname, because it's a big honor that they bestowed on you, and that you have shared it with us in terms of, you have told us how it came about. You know, we thank you for the role that you continue to play. Respect, ma'am. So to close off this panel discussion now, we're going to have Colonel Wallace today
sound the abeng. I'm not blowing any abeng. I'm going to sound it. I'm not blowing the abeng.
You're not managing it. Colonel Marcia, can you blow there? Can you sound the abeng?
I can make a sound. This need
here. Let us try, Colonel Marcia.
Yeah.
All right. I put you on the spot, but thank you so very much. Yes, God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for all the knowledge you have shared with us. Mrs. Beverly Carey, Colonel Marcia Douglas, Mama G, Paramount Chief,
thanks for the
Colonel
invitation.
Wallace Sterling, Alex Moore Minot, who is the Foreign Affairs Officer over in Acompo, but it really come from Rio Grande Valley. And Annette Aarons, thank you so much. Is there, Annette, thank you for keeping the culture going with the group. It's very important. God bless you. Thank you, everybody. We're not finished. We're going to wrap up now, but we do have Dr. Rosemary Lewis from Jedias, who will bring her greetings now, one of the diaspora groups out of Florida. So let's join her. And we have the abeng blowing. Okay. Dr.
My fellow
Rose.
Jamaicans and friends of Jamaicans, good evening. I am Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis, President of the Jamaica Diaspora, Southern USA, Jedias. This nonprofit organization was founded by Dr. Alan Cunningham, the Global Jamaica Diaspora representative for the 13 southern states. Jedias applauds this phenomenal design of the Jamaica Heroes Modernized. Without the resilience and tenacity of our national heroes, there wouldn't be a diaspora that is so vibrant. We are exemplifying the teachings, values, and legacy that these heroes have planted and have left for us to continue to grow. It is then with great pride that Jedias joins with the Jamaica Heroes Modernized to help create the synergy that will empower our people far and wide to bring awareness to the role we play in keeping our history rich and true. It is no wonder that in August of this year, we will proudly celebrate our Diamond Jubilee, Jamaica's 60th year of independence. For the month of January, we salute and celebrate Queen Nanny of the Maroons, who fought so selflessly for equality and who invigorated women to make their rightful places in society. Jedias is one of the conduits through which information will be imparted to strongly amplify the intention of modernizing the heroes. Our mission is to empower the Jamaican diaspora as change agents for the development of Jamaica and to motivate our youth to contribute to an environment by maximizing their potential, knowledge, and networks. Jedias will help you to connect with other organizations within the community. We will help you to think positively and to provide the right entities that will assist you in networking, building relationships, domestic and abroad. Jedias represents the voice of those who need support as Jamaicans living abroad, how to navigate through the system. We are here to help, so please reach out to us. Our website is www.jedias.org. This website will give you all the information that you will need to keep in touch with us and to be a part of this historical movement. May God bless you. Again, I am Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis, President of the Jamaica Diaspora, Southern USA, Jadias. We look forward to hearing from you.
When I say crick, you say crack. Crick, crick, crick. That's the sound of Johnny breaking wood to make a slingshot. At least it would have been if Johnny was still making slingshot. You see, back in the day, Johnny was the best slingshot maker in the whole village. Crick! He would find the right tree. Crick! The right branch in that tree. Crick! The right crook in that branch. Crick! Attach the leather just right and crick! Let fly a stone that never missed. Johnny never missed a bird. Chichibodo! Chichibodo! Summer pea dove! Summer chick and chick! Summer cling cling! And then one day, when Johnny knelt down to pick up his latest conquest, the cling stuck to his hand. And no matter how much Johnny shook, him couldn't get rid of the cling. And then without so much as a beat left in one feather, the cling began to sing. You better carry me home, you better carry me home. My name is Simon Tutu, better carry me home. Well, Johnny not afraid of Duppy. So him just put on him two shoes, them left and right, and walk, go home. Oh, wow. You better strip me now, you better strip me. My name is Simon Tutu, better strip me. Well, Johnny, not afraid of Duppy. So him swing him in a pudding pan of Kananga water and pluck out every feather. You better cook me now, you better cook me. My name is Simon Tutu, better cook me. Well, Johnny not afraid of Duppy, so him cook him with him left hand full of clove and him right hand full of garlic. You better eat me now, you better eat me. My name is Simon Tutu, better eat me. Well, Johnny not afraid of Duppy, and him go through all this trouble already, so him just eat him and wash him down with a bottle of cream soda and 3 green limes. And then Johnny belly starts swell. And Johnny belly swell. And Johnny belly swell till him had to lie down on the ground. And he's down there on the ground in a Johnny belly. Simon Tutu sang a story of the most beautiful bird you ever did see. You see, back in the day, before your day or my day, before Johnny day, long before yesterday, when people had better plans for themselves than being in chains, a band of brave warriors escaped to the hills. For a while, they were marooned there, taking care of one another, especially the children. Don't me, baby, don't cry. Your mama gone a fountain. That was the nanny. Don't me, baby, don't cry. Your mama gone a fountain. People say she was tall and beautiful with eyes that held magic. They said not many people could look into those eyes and live because Nanny could change things, change into things. They say at a place where 2 rivers meet, Nanny kept a pot of boiling. She put in oil of this, oil of that, oil for you, oil for me, oil for anybody who tried to thief this pretty little pot. Them say one day, some red coat man. Come to see what the pot can do, what the pretty little pot can do. And when Nanny wasn't looking, they lifted the lid and smelled. And instantly into the pot they fell, because the pot wasn't a pot at all. But nobody can speak what it was and live, and it done with red coat. Is Mr. Brooks did send them. Him was the head red coat, and all who was red coat tail had to do anything with him said. So the next day, him send another group of red coat to see what the pot can do, what the pretty little pot can do, and them screeching up the hill and hide behind the bush. When all of a sudden the bush reach out and grab them, because the bush wasn't a bush at all. It was a ambush. You can imagine now how Mr. Brooks Bex and him same going up the hill himself, him going to bring back Nanny, the pot, the brew, the pick-me, and the red coat, and him gone. Like the grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and marched them down again. And Auntie Mama, oh, we hear a blowing. Auntie Mama, oh, we hear a blowing. And every time Nanny hear the bang, she know she must take some more picnic and carry them go hide. Till when Mr. Brooks reach on top of the hill, is just him one and Nanny. And him put him hand on him Kimbo, which part him keep him gun. And she put their hand on their Kimbo, which part she keep her gun repellent. And him look on her. And she look on him. And him look on her. And she look on him. And him go so. Fire shot in a Nanny chest. In a Nanny chest. But she look on him. Look on him. Look on him with more fire. Because of she, a Capleton woman. And him hide him cross. And him knee knock. And him start to wobble. Till him drop a gum. Like a ripe breadfruit. Way. Dead a bush. And then she too started to fall over the cliffs. And all the children ran out screaming, Nay! Nana! Nanny! And right there, so Johnny belly pop. And out came Simon Tutu. You better carry me back. You better carry me back. My name is Simon Tutu. Better carry me back. And him grab on pan Johnny leg and start push and pull and push and pull and never stop push and pull until they reach the place where two rivers meet. And in the sunlight, Johnny couldn't tell what colors the feathers were. Were they black or green or gold? Or gold or black or green? Or black and green and gold? And Simon Tutu rose up over the place where two rivers meet, circled it, marked it as sacred. And from that day, Johnny never kill another bird. And one day, him go and find better use for him slingshot. You better carry me back. You better carry me back. My name is Simon Tutu. Better carry me back. You better carry me back. You better carry me back. My name is Simon Tutu. Better
Carry me back. Carry me back. Carry me back. I'm certain that you enjoy that. That's Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks, poet, storyteller who writes her stories. That was her work. You know, she's at the Edna Manley College for the Visual and Performing Arts. And she has lived, as I mentioned earlier on, and worked in Guyana and Antigua, but she's traveled the African continent and or countries on the African continent, working and developing storytelling. She has a program on radio and she has a podcast. It's amazing. That's Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks. I did show this to you earlier on, and I told you it was given to me, honored, Oil Not Limited, Second National Nanny Awards, 1994, to Fae Ellington. And I told you I would tell you who gave me this. The lady is now dead, but she was a Jamaican poet, novelist, journalist, and activist. And she was active in the struggle for women's rights in Jamaica and the Caribbean, Elaine Thomas. She was actually married to Anthony Gifford, Lord Anthony Gifford. So I just thought I would share that with you. I also want to remind you of the people who made this event possible. If you'll just allow me to speak up and tell you who they are. Let me give you the names: Charles Smart, Oneef White, Rolando Nooks, Antonia Dennis, Dainty Wilson, Kadisha Fisher, Double Mint, and Joel Samuels. We want to thank you all from wherever you are, in New Jersey, in Florida, in Jamaica, wherever you are. We want to thank you for being so dedicated to this project to ensure that we pulled it off. A few little hitches here and there, but hello, these things happen. And before we go, there is an understanding from the team that we never close off our programs without the national pledge. And Oneef White is the person who will now deliver our national pledge. Oneef?
Good evening, everyone. Let's say the national pledge. Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. DJ Naturalist.
Oh, yeah.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Oneef. Thank you, everyone. And you can dance to the music now if you wish. Thank you, everybody. And the bang is blowing, being blown.
Nanny, nanny, come on. Yeah, yeah, nanny. Nanny, nanny, come on. Yeah, yeah, nanny. You bring, girl, you bring, boy. Yeah, yeah, nanny. Come back to the robbery. Yeah, yeah, nanny. You bring, girl, you bring, boy. Yeah, yeah, nanny. Nanny, nanny, come on. Yeah, yeah, nanny. Nanny, nanny, come in. Yeah, yeah, nanny. You come down, a boy. Yeah, yeah, nanny. You bring, girl, you bring, boy. Yeah, yeah, nanny. Nanny, nanny, come on.
What a wonderful tribute. Thank you to the entire team. Thank you, Miss Fae Ellington. Great job as always. So I'm going to play 3 songs. Of course, 2 original Maroon songs. One more original. Maroon Daya. We're not gone nowhere. We are fabric of our country. Big up Chief Carey. As this your motto, out of many, one people. So whether you're maroon or not a maroon, we have one focus, and then it's to move forward together as one country.
Push on through.